Greetings to all in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So, as again, we will start the word of wisdom, a certain piece of God that we learn about, a certain characteristic of a Christian that we should all abide by. And the word of wisdom for today is unselfishness, specifically in relationships. Now, unlovable people are always transformed when someone is selfless towards them and gives them what they need, not what they deserve. Selfishness, every single time, destroys relationships. It is the number one cause of conflict, arguments, divorce, and even war. James chapter 4 verse 1 says, "What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you?" Every trouble starts with somebody's self-centeredness. It is very easy to be selfish. It is easy for selfishness to creep into your relationships. Whether you will be in a relationship, whether you are in the process of making a relationship, or whether you are in a relationship, selfishness is also very easy to creep into them and cause conflict. When you start a relationship, many times, we all work really hard to impress the other person by being humble, by being unselfish, by not showing certain aspects of ourselves that we might be ashamed of. But as time goes on, as you guys get stronger and the longevity of your relationship goes on, selfishness begins to creep in. We tend to put more energy into creating relationships rather than maintaining them, rather than growing them. Rather than making them stronger. If selfishness destroys relationships, then it is selflessness that makes them grow. Now, what does selflessness mean exactly? It means less of me and more of you. It means thinking of others more than you think of yourself, and putting the other person's needs before your own. Selflessness brings out the best in others, no matter what it is. It builds trust in relationships. In fact, if you start acting selfless in your relationships, it forces the other person to change, because you are not the same person that they dealt with before. We've seen this many times since we've all been through this travel of life. We've seen many relationships broken or strengthened, and it's due to this one component. Some of the most unlovable people that nobody wants to be around are transformed when someone is kind and selfless towards them, when they are given what they need and not what they deserve. In Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 and 8, it says, "The person who plants selfishness, ignoring the needs of others, ignoring God, harvests a crop of weeds. All he'll have to show for his life is weeds. But the one who plants in response to God, letting God's Spirit do the growth, work in him, harvest a crop of real life, which is eternal life." There's a biblical principle of sowing and reaping. We've all heard of this in the Beatitudes and many other places in the Bible. When you sow, you are supposed to reap. God rewards selflessness with eternal life. He has wired the universe, He has wired humanity, humans, so that the more unselfish you are, the more He blesses you. The more you bless others, and the more that you change others as well. Because He wants you to become more like Him, and God is unselfish. Everything you have in life is a gift from Him, from God Himself, because He was unselfish with you before anyone else. When God decided to call you into His family, the first thing that He does is He maintains His humility, maintains His unselfishness, and cares for our needs above His own. And the difference between God and us is that He maintains this unselfishness from start to finish. He never wavers. He never stops, unlike we do sometimes. You are the most fulfilled in your life when you give yourself away. Jesus said in Mark chapter 8:35, "Only those who throw away their lives for my sake and for the sake of the good news will ever know what it means to really live." So, as we take on this word and for the rest of the week, realize that Humility is something that is desired from God and from people as well. Though we might have conflicts, though we might have thoughts of someone else, how they might be mistreating us, how they might be annoying us, so on and so forth. It is when you are humble, it is when that you put their needs ahead of you, that you not only will see a change in them, but you will see a change in yourself. God makes us grow in ways that we'll never understand. And unselfishness is one of the biggest ways that He does that. The more that you yearn to be like God Himself, the more He blesses you with the relationships that you have and with the relationship that you have with God. So let us take that into consideration and remember that we can change the world with the humility that Christ showed us on this earth. And with that, may God bless this word.